What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is James, and I like to talk about web development. I like to talk a good deal about WordPress, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. In today's video, we are going to fix Gutenberg. Okay, not really, but we are going to take a look at just a little bit of work I've been poking around on today, a little plugin that I've been putting together that just does a couple little minor things that I think improve Gutenberg quite a bit. And I honestly don't know why things that I've done in this plugin aren't just in core. And I know that's going to sound arrogant, but it's like basic stuff when you're talking about web development. It's kind of like if you walked into a mechanic's garage and you were like, where are all the wrenches? And they're like, oh, we haven't added wrenches to our toolbox yet. And you're like, what are you talking about? How do you even fix a car without wrenches? They're like, we figured it out. We have workarounds. It's all good. That's kind of like what some of the stuff is, in my opinion. It's like, how does this not exist after 8 years? It's just weird. Hopefully you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe you'll agree with me. Maybe you won't. Maybe you're just so indoctrinated that you don't care and you like the workarounds and whatever. We'll see. Hoping that I can maybe change one person's mind. And hopefully that person is a developer. And hopefully that person is one of the people who somehow manages to get their code actually added to core. And maybe some of this stuff will actually make it into core. I doubt it. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. We'll let you guys be the judge. Should this stuff exist in core or not? So what we're going to do, we're just going to build a very simple hero section to show you some of the things that I've added. Okay. And it's not a lot, but I've added a few things. First of all, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, when you're building a website, you're going to have something called a section. How we get to the point where we have a 20-year-old web builder platform with a builder that they've been working on for 8 years, and we don't have a section block. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like a carpenter without 2x4s. How are we here in 2025 with a web builder where you can't add a section? That's how you build websites. Hello. That's how you build websites. Step 1, add a section. Step 2, add all the crap that you want in that section. That is how you build websites. So let's add a section. Let's go look at it. Look at that. It's a section. That's all it is. That's it. There's no other random divs in there. There's not a long string of classes. Look at this one. Entry content, align full, WP block post content, is layout constrained. WP container core post content is layout 07C33798. WP block. Oh, it's going to the next line. There's so many. Post content is layout constrained. Why? What is this? Tailwind? Why do we need 400 classes on every div? Not my div, not my element. It's just a section. Has one class we're not even using. AI did that. I didn't even ask for it to put a class on this div, on this section. All right. What else do we want to put in our section? Oh, I don't know. Maybe a container. Wild idea. What do we want to put in there? Maybe a couple divs. You're thinking, div? What the heck's a div? I don't know what a div is. Of course you don't, because you use Gutenberg, which means you don't actually know how to build a website. A div is another 2x4. It's how you build websites. You add a section, and then you start adding divs, and then you put images in those divs, and you put headings in those divs, and you put text in those divs. It's how you build websites. You don't build websites with rows. That's not a thing. Row is a CSS. A row is not an element in HTML. Columns, that's not an element in HTML. It's not how you build websites. Let's just duplicate this div. In the left div, we're just going to put an image. Let's put my dumb face in there. In the right div, we're just going to do heading and some text. I don't think there's a lorem in Gutenberg, is it? Lorem times 7. Nope, I didn't think so. You never know. Sometimes they surprise you with random little features. There's probably a plugin for that. I'm sure somebody made a plugin to add lorem if some. What am I doing? All right. That's it. That's it for content, right? Let's just go look at it. It's not going to look pretty, of course. Let's just go look at it. We got a picture, we got text, we got text. Now, I do have Automatic CSS installed, which is a framework for WordPress, a CSS framework for WordPress that, apart from giving you a UI to do a lot of things that you might want to do style-wise, where it really shines is the fact that it does a lot of smart things automatically. So you can see we already have a little bit of spacing and stuff here. Some things are happening automatically. But let's go ahead and jump on this container, and we're going to do something that you probably don't know what it means. If you're a lifelong Gutenberg user, we're going to add something called a class to this div. Now, maybe you've wondered what a class is because there's been, for who knows how long, the ability to add classes. But I added what I think to be a little bit better of a way to add classes. It's just a select to field, whatever. That's just a preference. This isn't mind-blowing. You can already add classes to blocks. But I added this select to because I just like it better. So I'm going to add a class grid -auto2. That's it. To the container. The left div, I'm not going to mess with. The right div, all I'm going to do, I'm just going to give it a class, whatever. I don't like naming things. Right column, we'll call it. Now let's go to the page tab here and look at this. Global CSS, right here on the page where I'm building, where I would actually want to maybe type some CSS. Not in some special magic area off in Narnia. What am I doing? What did I call that? Right column? We want to do display flex direction column, and justify content center. We're not trying to get too fancy here. Save. Let's go look at that. Look at that. We got a 2-column grid. Our text is centered here in the middle. And watch this. We go like this. It's automatically responsive. Goes down to 1 column. That's the automatic CSS working. Let's look at the code. All we have here is a section. We have our container div that we added this class to that handles all this. Look at all this stuff happening automatically for you. That's the power of automatic CSS. Definitely check that out if you're using WordPress and you have any sort of builder that has like a class-based system. There's a chance automatic CSS will work. I definitely know it works with bricks. I want to say it works with like Oxygen Builder. They list Gutenberg as something that it works with. And as you can see, it's working with Gutenberg right now. I don't remember the list of builders that it works with, but check out their website, look at their documentation, and you can see which WordPress page builders it works with. But since this video is about Gutenberg, I'd like to think that some of the people watching it are using Gutenberg. So definitely automatic CSS will do some pretty cool things for Gutenberg. Like all this stuff that I didn't have to write this. All I did was add this class grid auto2, and it's doing a bunch of fancy magic that makes it 2-column grid and it makes it automatically responsive. So that's pretty cool. And I was able to do that by just adding that class. continuing on, inside the container, we just have a div. I added that in the block editor. Inside there is an image or a figure with an image. And the other div is the heading and the paragraph. There's no extra divs snuck in there. If you watched my short video that was supposed to be an actual short, but I did it wrong, it's like a minute long. You'll see one of the things I hate about Elementor is it adds extra divs for no reason. Gutenberg does it sometimes. Gutenberg also adds all these classes. Again, I'm probably going to have these classes removed that AI decided to put in there for me. It's just clean. It's clean code. It's proper. This is how you're supposed to do it. You add a section. If it's 2 columns, you add 2 divs. You put your content in that div. You put your other content in that div. Do a little bit of styling. Move on with your life. This is the proper way to build a website, and this is proper clean code output that you just don't get. To do this the Gutenberg way, you have to learn stuff that doesn't make sense. It's not. You have to add. I don't even know. Honestly, I'm guessing that we would go with. Maybe we tried this grid. Let's try the grid, and we want transfer. No, I don't want to transform it. I don't think. I want to grid item position. How do I determine? Okay, so I just start dropping stuff in here. Maybe. I want to have in what we have here. I mean, I could add the image, but I need to wrap the heading and text in some sort of container. What did I do here? It's not even in the grid. Get in the grid. So I added the image, and then what else can I even add in Gutenberg? What do we have? Columns? No. A stack? I think I want to add a stack. Is that in there? Okay. And then in the stack, I do a heading. And then also in the stack, a paragraph. Okay. Save. Let's just see what that looks like. All right. I don't know how to make it responsive. So I got this grid here, item position, auto, minimum column width. Okay. It's doing, just want 2 columns. I think, right? Oh, no, that's not minimum. Oh, minimum column width is I have to pick a rem value for my columns. Why? I need to pick the number of columns. And then if I don't specify, then all the columns will just be the same width. What are we doing here? Maybe I have to go to manual. Okay, manual. So this is trying to be fancy. This is trying maybe to do what Automatic CSS does. But it's not responsive. Okay. It does go responsive. I swear it wasn't doing that last time. Okay, but how do we get it? So I have to just increase the rem. What's the max? 38 rem? What does that look like? That's not how you do grid. You don't give your items widths. You don't do that. What's the code look like? Is the code at least not stupid? What do we got? There's our image. Here's our stack, they called it. That's not a thing. What is this? It's a WP container layout grid. Oh, this is the grid block. And then this is just the page. Okay. Code's not terrible. It's got all these dumb classes, which is annoying. 1, 2, 3, big old long class. 4 classes on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes on that one. This isn't maintainable. What if I add this section? Like, what if I have this basically the same hero section on every page and I need to do something like, I don't even know. I need to change the padding. I need to add a little bit more padding or gap or something. Like, how do I do that? How do I do that one time and it happens everywhere? This is stack grid. What are we doing here? Guys, this is not how you build a website. You don't build a website by adding a grid. You add a section or a div and you use CSS to turn it into a grid or a flexbox. What's a stack? You don't add stacks. What even is a stack? What is it? It's a grid. It must be using grid. Is layout grid. Group is layout grid. It's a display grid. Grid template columns repeat autofill. So it's one column. So it's just a one column grid is all it's just. I don't know, man. It's annoying. It's so annoying. There's no benefit to making up words. There's no benefit to it. You could just use web development language. You could just let folks add a section. Let them add a div. And then I know you WordPress developers and you people using Gutenberg, I know you hate CSS. I know every time you look at CSS, it just gives you this awful shiver down your spine that makes you feel icky. I get it. So let them add a section and then give them a UI over here. Layout, grid, flex. They choose grid. How many columns you want? Give me a UI for it. Don't make them do CSS if you don't want to. I get it. But at least use the language of web development. This is why Webflow is so good, I believe. Webflow is like the first visual builder that just actually used the language of web development, which means that if you use Webflow, you might not even know it, but you're actually learning web development. When you're adding a section and you're adding divs and then you're adding classes to things and styling those specific classes, and then you're like, oh, all the styling I just did to that class, if I just add that class to another element, it automatically adds all that same styling. That's pretty neat. You're literally learning how to build a website. If you used Webflow for a year and then Webflow just disappeared and you, for whatever reason, were forced to start using code, you would actually already be quite a ways towards just knowing how to code, honestly. Because Webflow uses the language of web development. Gutenberg does not. And that's frustrating to me. It's frustrating that I can't just simply add a section. I can't just add a div. I watch videos of people doing stuff. And if they want to have just a big old text going all the way across, but they don't want the text to go all the way across, they want the text width to be cut off. The number of people that I see, no matter what they're using, Gutenberg, Elementor, Divi, the number of people I see that will add a row with two columns and they'll just make one column kind of smaller and the one column kind of bigger, and they'll put their text in the kind of bigger column, and they'll use that to determine the width of their text. It's not their fault. That's just how you have to do it. In the dumb builder that doesn't make any sense. That's just how you have to do it. Because they don't know what a class is. They don't know that literally all they have to do is go onto the paragraph text, give it a class, and say max width 65 ch or whatever. Done. You don't have to throw in an extra empty div to do that. And then that div's going to start to cause you problems when you get down on mobile. And seriously, this is one of the reasons why I've recently been becoming more and more frustrated with these page builders, because I am the person who spent years using a page builder. I used Themify. And I used it for years and years and years. And I learned how to build sites with Themify. That's it. That's all I was learning that whole time. And then when I eventually decided I was just sick of using Themify, all that time I spent using Themify, I developed 0 skills. All I developed was Themify skills. Those skills are now useless because I decided I don't want to use Themify anymore. So I completely just wasted years of my life learning nothing. And that frustrates me because I know I'm not the only one. I know that everybody else who jumps in and uses Gutenberg for years, they're not learning anything except how to use Gutenberg. They're not actually learning how to build websites. They're not learning how to develop websites properly. They're not learning the language of web development. They're not learning proper semantic HTML structuring. They're not learning anything useful. They're not learning CSS. They're just learning Gutenberg. And then if they ever get tired of using Gutenberg, cool. Now you got to start completely over to learn something else completely new. Because you learned nothing useful the entire time. And that was me. And that frustrates me. And it frustrates me knowing that other people are doing that. And I don't know. I just feel like Themify, Elementor, Divi, Gutenberg, if y'all could just stop making stuff up. Stop it. Stop making things up. Just use real words. Use real HTML elements. Use the language of web development. And put it all on your UI, sure, whatever. But just use the language of web development so people are at least learning something useful while they use your tool. And when you do that, you allow people to build websites properly and educate them on how to do things properly. Show them the proper way in your documentation and in your YouTube videos to add hero sections and to add text. And how do you make the text this wide instead of this wide? Show them the proper way to do that, which, yes, includes adding a class and adding one little line of CSS or choosing in your UI style panel. Click on the text, click max width, type in 55 characters. That's the proper way to determine how wide your paragraph is, not adding extra empty divs to take up space and forcing your paragraph to shrink. Stuff like that. That's just one example. I see stuff all the time of people doing weird things that I used to always have to do when I used Themify. Stop it. Stop it. I know my plugin is janky. It could be improved, and I'll work on improving it. Maybe I don't know. We'll see, because I'm never going to use it. I use Etch. I use Automatic CSS. I'm never going to use Gutenberg, but I kind of was just doing this because I'm bored and as an experiment and just to see how hard would it be to just actually make Gutenberg somewhat useful. Turns out not that hard. It took me like 2 hours with the AI bot to make this happen. And somebody who actually knows what they're doing, who's familiar with Gutenberg, could do this, and they could actually make it good. I mean, there's things like this little thing. It doesn't seem to remember classes. That would be neat, and maybe I'll make it do that. I don't know. But if I've added a class to one block and then I go to another block, I start typing, let's add a class here, image. If I go to this other block and start typing, it doesn't show up. That would be neat if it did, since there's another block with that class on it already. That's why I made it a select to, so that I could possibly do this. So that's an example of a way I could improve it. Another thing I could do to improve it is this could have some text editor features like autocomplete, right? When I go display, when I go paragraph and I do that, it could automatically put my closing bracket in there, right? Stuff like that would make this better. That somebody who knows what they're doing would obviously clean these up. Mike McAllister. I always call him Oliver because his product is Ollie. Mike McAllister could take what I did and make it amazing. He would fix all these little things, and he would have a legit little code editor here. His CSS thing would be better. Look, I have a bug where it does this sometimes. I don't know how to. You just click on something else and now it works. He would fix all that crap. Somebody could do this better. Just add a section block, add a div block, First of all, we need sections and divs in web development. Make this UI a little bit better, make it easy to add classes, make it easy to add custom CSS, and boom, you've already, just doing that, you've taken Gutenberg to the next level where people can actually begin to build websites properly. And it's not that hard. It's just nobody will do it because they want to be adding rows and columns and stacks and grids and other things that don't exist in HTML. And they just want to do everything wrong. And they want every div to have 8 different classes on it and with the most random, stupid styling that doesn't make any sense. All right. I think that's it for today's rant. Tell me what you think. Is this a waste of my time? Or should I put in some effort to work, fix this bug and maybe make this better and see if I can't make this more of a legit code editor? Like, tell me if you think it's actually worth putting some effort into this, or if I'm just wasting my time. Because if somebody thinks this might be useful, I'll go ahead and keep working on it and see if I can't make it like legit. And yeah, just let me know. Let me know what you think. And if there's anything else that you think could be added to it that I don't have, I'm probably going to add another block called a Flex Div. It's literally just a div that already has display flex on it, just because that's so common, adding a Flex Div. I'm thinking about adding a figure div and my own image. Not a figure div, a figure and my own image, because I don't like that in Gutenberg you add an image and that's all you see here in the builder's image. But on the front end, they wrap it in a figure. But you can't do anything to that figure in here because there is no figure in the builder. It's just an image. So I can't click on figure and do anything over here in the block editor to the figure. I can't add a class to the figure. And then, in fact, I think whatever you add to, you think you're adding a class to the image, but you're actually adding it to the figure, I think. Did I save? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you thought you were adding a class to the image. Turns out, nope, you were actually adding it to the figure. Which means in Gutenberg land, you can't add a class to the image. You just can't. So what if you want to do something useful like width 100%, height 100%, object fit cover? You can't. Unless you understand that you can add a class and then you figure out that class was added to the figure, and then you find some plugin that lets you add custom CSS to your website, and you go into the custom CSS and you add width 100%, height 100%, object fit cover. That's the only way you can do it, because for some reason, even though they wrap the image in a figure, they don't put that figure in the Gutenberg builder, so you can't manipulate it at all. So I may add my own figure and image so that you can actually manipulate them here in the builder. Yeah, anything else like that, let me know. I also just would love to hear your thoughts on this topic as a whole, even if you don't care about this little project I'm working on. If you just have some thoughts about page builders and proper web development, love to hear it. Love to get a conversation going. I'm always yapping about this on Twitter. Let's start yapping about it in the YouTube comment section. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.